Hey Cindy, I'm just going to look at your portfolio here. So I did notice some things on page 1. Oops, gosh. I must have a big file size here. So I would just say just get rid of this and then take this out of this area maybe and just bring it up and just center it in here. I'm missing your fonts, so when you make your file package, make sure that you are including the fonts. You might have to check a little checkbox to get those when you make your file package. So I would do that with the front cover. You are bringing all of your images to the bleed line, which is good. Since I'm missing your fonts, your booklet's looking quite a bit different. But, you know, you have these page numbers here, so just make sure that you are doing that throughout your whole design, which it does look like you are. If I click on all of these spreads, I can see that you are consistent with your page numbering throughout. Okay. One thing that's kind of throwing me off a little bit was just with one of your spreads. This one's throwing me off a little bit. I feel like it should be the tan background still. Because it's every page has the tan background. And then another thing that was kind of throwing me off is this green. I think you should make this the tan. Also, just make sure that with each one of these, if you have everything capitalized on one page and then not on the other, so like on these pages, these are different sizes, so maybe just keep all of these the same size, same font. And if you're going to do all caps, do all caps. If you're not going to do all caps, don't do caps everywhere. So these aren't capitalized, but then these ones are. And they're different sizes. So make sure, that maybe you want this one to be all caps because it's a project name, but at least these ones should just be similar to this. So either choose all caps or not capped, obviously, and choose a size and a font and stick with it throughout the whole book. Same goes with all of this body copy. Any of the body copy, it should all be the same size, same font, same thickness for the most part, same leading, which is the space between the lines, so that you get a really tight looking design. I was thinking, with this thing that goes up and down, I noticed you're using it again in your booklet somewhere else, which I like it as a design feature in your booklet, but the other place that you're doing it is here. So this is vertical. This is done this way, and I think you should do the same on this other page. I think you should keep it that way, just because I think you need to move all of your content up on that page. Oops, sorry. So like here, bring this over. If you want to change up the color scheme, you can, but make this and, center that. Make sure it's going to the bleed, obviously. I'm missing all your fonts, so that's kind of a bummer, but so it looks quite a bit different for me, I'm sure. But with these, they're all in separate text boxes, which I'm not quite sure why that is. At least the smaller body copy could be in the same text box, but that's just a small thing. But like with this stuff, I can't read this, but you could move this over here and bring this off of the content, and then maybe put this back, obviously. Oops, put that back there. You have to change that number, obviously, but maybe put graphic design on one line so that you can kind of get this all kind of where you need it to be, and this could kind of go here, and this could go here, and you could tighten up these spaces between each of these. And line everything up, use the alignment tool as much as you possibly can. You can push shift on your keyboard to get multiple things selected at the same time. And in the Properties panel, or up here if you're in Essentials Classic workspace, but you can use the alignment area. You have to scroll down to find it, but and just get everything lined up, and then even line up these. Even line these up, and do this on every page. Like just line up anything that you can to get it, you know, totally lined up perfectly if you can. And then, you know, tighten these up a little bit. Just tighten up these spaces so that you can get, the print design off of the Combine, because you can't read it where it's at currently. So maybe just consider moving everything up. And you might have to make this, I don't know if you can make that more narrow, or that might not work very well for you, but maybe this could be moved up. And then just try to get, you can even shrink all this down a little bit, because I mean, I think this text is at 10. It could be as small as 8. And I don't know if there's any leeway on this picture, but it is kind of, this print design is hard to read when it's over the Combine. I would make this a little wider and just center it on the page and make this bigger. And maybe like, I don't know, oops. And maybe like, you know, change the font on Landon Warren to be like more bold. And I don't know why. Anyway, it's stacking for some reason. You might need to put it in a different text box. And then maybe make Landon Warren like this red color or something. And maybe just center this too. Just center that and center that. Same with these, like just do the alignment tool as much as you can to align things. Make sure, you know, if you're capitalizing that you're doing that throughout the whole book. I would potentially, like, you know, line these two headline or subheads up, whatever you want to call them, and then these body copy boxes could be also lined up a little bit. And then, like, you know, this could be lined up with this, and this could be lined up with that, and then, you know, just make this as wide as the box above it. Because it starts to get kind of, and also the spacing between these should be relatively even. Like the space here should be similar to the space here, so, you know, maybe just do that. And then this space could be brought in, like, to try and match these spaces. You know, and then maybe you could even bring this up and then just have these, you know, centered on the page, stacked on top of each other, I guess, is what I was thinking. Like this, maybe. Oops. And then, you know, centered on the page, and maybe bigger. Like something like that, maybe. Same goes for these. Same thing, like just line these up using the alignment tool. Maybe even align these. Oops. Okay. And then, like, same here, you know, have this line up with this, have these be lined up, and have this be like the same width as this box. You can get the width here, copy that, and then click on that box and Command V that and push return, and you can get the same width. And just try and keep, you know, all of the spacing the same throughout. This looks like this is a nice layout here. Same here, just line this all up with, you know, and if this is the font that you're going to use for your, I think you did it there, which is good. So you got those even. You just want to keep everything kind of the same throughout. The paragraph styles can help with that. You do have some, those are just the basic ones, but so yeah, these look pretty, this looks pretty good. There are some spacing problems here, like And possibly some alignment problems. I don't know if these are lined up perfectly or not. Look for shift. Yeah, they are lined up good. I like seeing the real world application of that, which is cool. Maybe that's a mock-up, but still cool. These look different to me. Like this looks stretched, and then this one looks not as stretched. So if you are stretching fonts like with this, make sure you're consistent with it throughout your design. Of course, my fonts probably look a little different than yours. With this page, I mean, I would shy away from putting every little thing in different text boxes like this. I would just keep it simple. If this is a quote, treat it the same way that you treated the other quote that was on the other page. And actually, I like this way of doing it. You know, you could put it like, you know, we could left align all of this with each other, and then, you know, make these boxes the same width, and then, you know, maybe keep that there, I don't know, bring this down, and then maybe put this like here or something, or put it here and then put this over here maybe. But you have it over here, so you might not need it here, although I do kind of like it. Definitely the little boxes of text all over the place, unless it's a quote, which you have here, I would kind of shy away from. I would keep every page fairly consistent with how you're laying it out. If you're left justifying or doing this type of justification in there, do that with this box too, which I think you did, which is good. But just keep it consistent throughout. You might not have done it here, maybe you did. Maybe you did. And yeah, keep moving through here, try to make it through all of your pages. This looks like a different color to me, which maybe you're trying to match this background, but you don't want to go too far with the colors. You might want to keep them a little more consistent, using this more of a rusty brown. You know, making sure that you're keeping all of this the same. This page looks quite a bit different, like I said earlier. Maybe put that tan background in the background. I do like this too, this is cool. But it looks, maybe just make these a little bigger. Oops, with the free transform tool, pushing shift. Obviously the image in the background is pretty compelling too, so I mean, you might want to consider, I don't know, bringing those to the forefront more. This one's kind of a repeat, so, and I guess that's a repeat, so, you know, you could make these just a little bigger and line up the bottom edges maybe. Also, you're putting it in like a box that's got a rounded side. Oops. So you might not want to do that if you're not doing that with your other pieces, because it's all about consistency, right? Like we want to keep everything page to page as consistent as possible. So if you're doing that with this project, you should probably be doing it with all the projects. So maybe take off the rounded edge. And if you're putting a stroke on stuff, make sure you're putting a stroke throughout each instance of what you're bringing in. And, you know, maybe just left aligning everything on every page is, you know, might be a good way to go, so that you're keeping it consistent throughout. And these have strokes on them as well, so maybe take those off because you don't have them on anything else. This looks pretty good. I like the photo collage idea, but maybe just needs to be developed a little bit more. Looks pretty good. You're not really doing photo collages with anything else, and maybe fill up this box, and I'm running out of